All right.
Can you give me a hand? Sure. Apparently it's pretty delicate. So yeah. That's good right there. Nope, this way. And if we can just. Yep.
Well, welcome to this service for Larry. It's good that we've come together like this to honor him, support his family, and celebrate the gifts of his life among us. After our gathering here, people are invited to come and meet with the family for a period of visitation and some fellowship and share some stories and things like that. If you have a cell phone in your purse or pocket, would you perhaps think to shut the ringer off would be most polite. I also want to say thank you to Courtney, our translator, who has very graciously is here with us today to make sure that everybody is included in this gathering. I would like to first invite, please, William Sestito forward for a poem, Someone is Missing.
Someone is missing. Let this be a loving reminder that someone is missing today. Someone our hearts still hold on to as we travel along life's way. Someone who made life so special for all those who gather here. Someone who won't be forgotten, but cherished from year to year. And now, as we pause to remember, let us all fondly recall how dearly each of us loved him, and oh, how he loved us all.
Thank you very much, William. And next, I would like to invite forward Tammy, please, to share a few words.
Thank you all for joining me and my family to celebrate the life of my husband, Larry. It is hard to know what to say about Larry when there is just so much to say. Everyone who met Larry would feel that he was the greatest, most wonderful man. He was such a strong impact on people that even those who only met him once easily remembered him forever. Larry was such a friendly person who also had a gift of making people laugh or smile effortlessly. He had a reputation for being so warm, giving the best hugs, and having a good sense of humor. He touched so many lives in so many ways. Larry left the world 5 months ago, but he will never leave my heart. I miss him so much. Larry was my true love, my best friend, my soulmate, and my everything. He was the love of my life, and his strong love still shines bright. I remember when I first saw Larry. We met through mutual friends. He had a long beard, curly, puffy hair like a lion, big muscles, and a friendly smile. We chatted and chatted for hours, building a strong connection. We kept in close contact with each other while I was away at Gallaudet University in Washington. We started dating, we were married in 1982. Larry taught me so much about love, and I look back over these years with so much happiness. I'm so grateful to have had him as my husband. Larry was a wonderful husband, dad, papa, and animal lover. The most important thing to us was our family, including our 3 beautiful daughters. Larry did so many wonderful things and showed so much love for our daughters, sons-in-law, and grandchildren. I find comfort in knowing that we will have amazing memories of us, even though he is no longer with us. I see so much of Larry in each of our grandchildren and our daughters, and those characteristics make me smile. Larry lives on in all of us, and he will never be forgotten. Larry, my love, I will meet you again someday. I love you.
Tammy, thank you so much. You honored Larry, you honored the rest of us with the words you shared. Thank you. I would like to next invite forward, please, Casey, Emily, and Ashley to share a few words.
Hello. For those of you who don't know me or haven't seen me in a long time, my name is Casey, and I'm the youngest of Larry's 3 daughters. What I'm saying today is a reflection of the thoughts, feelings, and memories of myself and my 2 sisters, Emily and Ashley. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to stand before you all and speak about our dad, Larry James Opperman. We see and we feel so much of him here in this room. To know our dad is to know 3 things: love, hard work, sacrifice, and enjoyment in life. If you've ever had the pleasure of a big Larry bear hug or handshake, you felt the power of his heart. His smile was so big and warm, it couldn't be obscured by his mustache, long beard, and long hair. Our dad was known for his warm eyes, his typical dad jokes, his terrible email forwards, and his genuine, enveloping hugs. He was a warm furnace when as a kid he had a nightmare and he'd go running into our parents' room. He made fun of every boyfriend or friend in a way that broke the ice and also welcomed them into the family. I don't know if anybody remembers the eat like a birdseed joke. When our dad didn't think that you had eaten enough or that you were maybe holding back to be polite. He was always up for anything and everything. Whether it was going for a walk, having some drinks with our friends, or staying up late to pick us up from the bar and making sure that everybody got home safe. He also celebrated every achievement, even if it didn't feel like it was a big deal to us. He always wanted us to know how proud he was. He taught us to let go of anger and frustration and to always focus on what is positive in life. As kids, we were fortunate to have our parents as role models for hard work and sacrifice. Both of our parents worked tirelessly to ensure that we had every opportunity. They worked opposite shifts so that we always had a parent home. They went without so that we could afford extracurriculars, activities, and trips. Our dad appreciated everything that he had and took great care of his things. Sometimes those things needed to be repaired a couple times, like his 1992 Black Dodge Caravan that almost made it to 400,000 kilometers. Our dad's hard work extended beyond his career. He remodeled our entire Belleville house inside and out. He took care of all of our vehicles, even our friends' vehicles, changing tires, changing the oil, getting up early to wash them, fill up our gas tank without ever being asked. He built science projects, He helped us move from one student house to another, to another, to another. He helped renovate our adult houses and was always the first to volunteer, whether it was helping out at an event, fundraiser, someone in need. Our dad was the kind of guy who would drop anything. He would show up early, he would sacrifice his breakfast, he would work through lunch. He would only take a break when a good chunk of the job was done. He celebrated with a strong beer and called those who would not participate a wimp. We can remember the countless times that our dad would say, if you work hard, you can do anything you want, you can have anything you want, you work hard like daddy. And when we had enough of that hard work, he would say, but you're tough, just like daddy. Our dad was many things to many different people, but there was one thing that no matter what always came first, and that was being our dad. He always said that family is the most important thing that you have, and he showed us all every day how much he meant it. Our dad was a happy person through and through. His sense of humor was twofold: hilarious stories of his day, and super embarrassing, sometimes gross jokes. No matter the source, his objective was always the same. He always wanted to make people laugh. While our dad loved to give a good speech about saving money and not wasting money, he also made sure to encourage us to travel as much as we could and as often as we could. If we needed some encouragement, he would recount some of his own adventures around the world. Some of our happiest memories were our family trips to Florida, Western Canada, all through the US and to Cuba. Seeing our dad relaxed, present, and enjoying time with family we worked so hard to make happen, those are the most fulfilling moments and the ones that we will treasure forever. We are so fortunate to have had the amazing relationship that we had with our dad. To be able to remember our relationships fondly and to experience his death with no regrets. We have no doubt that he knew how much we loved him, and we have no doubt of how much he loved us. Pain that we all feel at his untimely death is the most intense, overwhelming pain that we've known in life. However, when we think about that pain in terms of the amount of love that we had for him, it makes sense and it's worth it. Dad, we've never met anyone as friendly, warm-hearted, and hardworking as you. And we will do our best to carry on as you would have. We miss you, and we love you so much.
Thank you also, that's very difficult to do. Next, I would like to invite Chris Kennefick forward, please, to share a few words. Sorry. I would next like to invite Kieran Lafferty forward, please, to share some thoughts.
Until we meet again. Those special memories of you will always bring a smile. If only I could have you back for just a little while. Then we could sit and talk again, just like we used to do. You always meant so very much, and always will too. The fact that you're no longer here will always cause me pain, but you're forever in my heart until we meet again.
Thank you, Kieran. Gerard Kennedy is here. I would like to call him forward to share some things.
Okay. Good afternoon, Tammy, daughters Ashley, Emily, and Casey, your families, and all of Larry's family, friends. We're gathered here today. I'm honored to be here to talk about Larry and his wonderful qualities. I worked together at the James Wendy School for many, many years. He was the ideal residence counselor. He studied at Fanshawe College in London, and upon coming here was offered a job at the Ontario School for the Deaf here in Belleville in 1973. With the exception of working for 1 year at the School for the Deaf in Milton, he spent his entire career at Sir James Whitney until he retired in 2001. But even after Larry retired, he always stayed on as part of the Sir James Whitney residence community. He worked for an additional 20 years after his retirement as an on-call staff. Larry always showed up whenever we needed him. Even on short notice, overnight shifts, up-night shifts, he was always available and would be there within a moment. That tells us something about Larry. His dedication, his time, his energy, his passion, his service to the Sir James Whitney School community. In total, almost half of a century, 48 years of service. For the hundreds and hundreds of deaf and hard of hearing students that stayed in the residence, Larry always made sure that they felt like it was a home away from home. With his warm and caring qualities. With his size and his long beard, he could seem as intimidating as a Viking. But many of the students described him as a jolly and gentle as Santa. Larry had a big, sweet heart for all the students who knew him. Larry tried to enrich their lives, designing and implementing programs, many programs that were fun activities, that taught skills, and his most popular program was the skiing program. Larry made an impact on not only the students he cared for, but also those who worked with him. Larry was very generous, providing support to his colleagues. He was there when Sir James Whitney changed educational philosophy from oralism to American Sign Language. And he went above and beyond the call of duty to tutor ASL to the staff so they would better able to communicate with the students. And the hearing staff would agree with that. Larry also knew how to make everyone who worked with him feel at ease and have fun in the workplace. Outside of work, Larry was very proud of his 3 daughters. They also went to school with my own daughters. So I witnessed Larry in his role as a loving father, and he always demonstrated his persistent love and support and care for his girls in every aspect of their lives. Beyond his legacy as an outstanding father, husband, and friend, Larry's memory will always be treasured in the Sir James Whitney community. He was a role model to many of us who looked up to him and his amazing work ethic his advocacy work, his passion and caring of others, and above all, his love for his family and the Sir James Whitney community. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerard. I would like to next invite forward, please, former Principal Drake to share some memories.
Before I begin and share some stories, I want to express my heartfelt sorrow and condolences to Tammy and Ben with Larry's sudden and unexpected departure. However, he lives on in all of us here and you. As I look back as a former student, Larry had an impact on many of our lives, my own included. He was the first culturally deaf person there amongst the teachers, the staff, the administration. Larry was the first. We all looked up to him. He shared community information, not just on deaf issues, but numerous hot topics, politics, sports, etc. He recognized the skills and potential in me. He took I, along with a group of other students and staff, Jim McDermott, to Toronto, where the Ontario Cultural Society of Deaf was hosting a performance, and we were to perform in ASL. It was an amazing experience and it opened my eyes. Larry was also good at making us think before we made drastic decisions. The girls were upset one day, very frustrated because of a new, silly residence rule, and we stormed over to the senior boys' residence where Larry worked. And he patiently listened and as we vented. And at the end, he gave us this Santa Claus chuckle and said to us, he started asking us questions to make us think about what the real problems were. His favorite sign he always wanted to say was, "Oh, come on, oh, come on." Students will all remember how he used to sign. Another thing about Larry that was very special about him, that I fond memory I have, is I remember when he let me come into the projection room upstairs, as he explained how he spooled the film onto the camera and the projector, and how he ordered in the films, and he always took a moment to teach us these things. The students will all remember how we were excited on Wednesday evenings for the open caption movies in the auditorium. Larry encouraged me to get involved in the deaf community, sports communities, baseball, volleyball. And it was from him that I joined the Toronto Association of Deaf as the youngest volleyball player ever. And through them, I made many new connections and many new friends. And it was because of Larry referring my name to them. Thank you for that, Larry. And I have to admit, Larry drove us nuts. He drove us crazy. He was always saying, "You should. You guys should do this. You should do that." Like, should. It's always on his hands. So much so, we made a code name for him, a code nickname. And it was mustache and should combined into one sign. For a big mustache, and so we would always tease amongst ourselves, and when we sort of dropped that sign, we Larry was within eyesight and changed whatever we were talking about, because he always knew that he'd catch the conversation amongst us. And of course, we love his perspective, his advice, his rich cultural experiences that he shared with us. We really enjoyed that. 30 years later, after graduating, I returned to Sir James Whitney as a staff person. Tammy and Larry were the first to welcome me back into the community, inviting me into their home for a dinner and offering congratulations. And I could see the pride in their faces with my return. Do you remember that? His qualities were many. Loyalty was one of his strengths. He always came in and worked and covered supply staff whenever we needed him. The students were drawn to him like a magnet. Loved chatting and asking him questions. And at his break, Larry always joined the students in the cafeteria, sitting around the tables chatting. And that always amazed me, and it told me where his heart lies. Caring, compassionate, and his beautiful use of sign language inspired the students. As a new retiree, one day I had to go to the local garbage dump, and there I saw Larry Opperman. His walk, his beard, you couldn't miss him. He saw me and immediately started teaching me about how he sorted trash at the garbage dump. It made me think back to that same moment when he was teaching me in the projector room. He was a lifelong educator. Always working teachable moments. You know, a bit of a funny moment in my retirement, he's still teaching me, telling me about the dump, and at the end he said, "Hey, you should apply here." And again, that sign was shook. And you know, he was popular not just in the deaf community, but as a Valvillian himself in the wider community. Always working for people in the community, well known. He had so many different roles and so many different jobs, sharing of himself and volunteering. I don't think the word retirement was ever a part of his vocabulary. Anyways, Larry, we all miss you tremendously. My favorite part about you was your hugs, those famous bear hugs. It just enveloped you and emitted love from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Chris Kennovic is here now, and I would like to invite him forward to share some things.
Hi, my apologies for arriving late. I didn't realize just how far I live away from the school now. Anyways, I was very shocked to hear the news of his passing, and I wish I could have met and expressed his condolences long ago in terms of COVID and the limitations. Although I was very shocked to hear of him being gone, it was very emotional for me with my own loss of my wife. I have much to thank Larry for. Without Larry's involvement in life, I'd never married my wife, Lauren. At the time when I started dating her, she was 13 and I was 18. And I just about to turn 19. And I felt like maybe the age was too great. And I sat and confided in Larry about it. And he asked me what was the problem, and we talked through it. And, you know, my girl problems, right? And he said, have an open mind, be patient and wait. I said, she's 13. And he said, well, age is important, but love is more important. You know, and
I said, well, how will it work with me going off to college and university? And he said, listen, just take one day at a time. And I did. And we ended up together for 36 years. We had 4 beautiful children. And I have that to thank Larry. That was his gift to me, his encouragement and support when I confided in him. Larry himself has got so many qualities and attributes that many of us here in the deaf community as adults, he impacted us in terms of his volunteerism, teaching us leadership skills and participation. I look back, we all have Larry to thank for those skills that he instilled in us. Janice's previous comments where he said, Larry always said you should, absolutely dead on, spot on. We have so many things to thank Larry, the skills, the leadership skills, things we didn't realize at the time, but as we sit now and reflect on them, those skills develop confidence in us, and they came from Larry. Larry grew up went through a lot of experiences in his own life. We've had many of those frustrations and roadblocks and barriers, but he always saw them as an opportunity to grow. And that's why many of us have been successful in life as leaders and volunteer in our communities. We contribute to them, and we have Larry to thank for that. I'm sure many of you love giving a handshake from Larry. It was like no other. He was like an iron fist, so strong. And when we wrestled with him and tried different things, and he always had words of wisdom and experience to apply in any situation, in every aspect of our daily life. He had been through it, experienced it, and shared those experiences with it. My son Braden, who is in British Columbia now, wants to have new experiences, and as he sets out into the world, and I think back of the opportunities for youth that weren't there when we were growing up. We're very fortunate to have had those skills and opportunities that we did have that were presented to us through Larry, so that we all grew up as successful deaf people. And we owe this to Larry. Things that he taught to me, I'm now presenting and teaching to my son, passing on that wisdom, experience, and knowledge. I'm sure others sitting here today are doing the same. And where's Larry's oldest daughter? Now, what day of the month were you born on? And the year? That's right. January 26th. I never forgot that moment. Larry was walking around so excited. His firstborn was coming any moment in the residence. He was wound up like a clock. And we were teasing him about whether he was going to be a boy or a girl. And over the senior residence, he came over and talked. The superintendent said to me about Larry, I think it was a phone call, and he got very excited. And he was teasing us because we told him that there was a phone call coming, but there wasn't. Eventually, when you were born, it was the happiest moment of his life at that point. Over the years, he talked about all his girls and how proud he was of them. And always talked about Tammy. I know that you're all proud of him. He loved you. His love was eternal. The community wants to thank you for allowing him and sharing him with us. Because we know he had the responsibilities of the family, but he managed that and his responsibilities within the community, his family. There's so much to be thankful for. We all have. And although he is gone, in presence, his spirit is on, and his gifts are still there. And it has a ripple effect across all of us. As he passed it to me, I pass it to my son. And you will pass those gifts on to your children, etc. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak and share a few words. I love Larry. He was such a great guy. My first counselor who was himself deaf, a role model. Prior to that, we didn't have a deaf role model. And if it wasn't for Larry and your mom, I would have never met Maureen. I would have never went to university. I wasn't an academic guy at the time, but it was through your mom who sat down and lectured to me, and Larry preaching to me as well. I'm very thankful to both of you. Thank you. I love you both.
Damien is going to read a poem for us now. We remember him.
We remember him. At the rising sun and at its going down, we remember him. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember him. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember him. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember him. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of the autumn, we remember him. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember him. As long as we live, he too will live, for he is now part of us as we remember him. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember him. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember him. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember him. When we have joy that we crave to share, we remember him. When we have achievements that are based on his, we remember him. For as long as we live, he too will live, for he is now part of us as we remember him.
Thank you, Damien. I'll take a couple of moments in prayer, whatever you might conceive that to be, as we give thanks for Larry. Perhaps bowing our heads. God of grace and glory, we thank you for Larry, so near and dear to so many, but who has now been taken from us. We thank you for the friendship he gave, for the strength and peace he brought. We thank you for the love he offered and the love he received while with us on this earth. We pray that nothing good in his life will be lost, but will be a benefit to the world. We pray that all that was important to him will be respected by those who now follow, and that everything in which he was great will continue to mean much to us, even now. We ask you that he go on living in his family and friends, in their hearts and minds, in their courage and in their consciences. We ask you that all who were close to him may now, in his death, be even closer to each other, and that we may all, in peace and friendship on this earth, be deeply conscious of your promise to be faithful to us, even in death. May God grant us courage and confidence in the new life of Christ. We ask this in the name of the risen Lord. Amen. I've been asked to read a poem entitled, He Is Gone. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love that you share. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what he would want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. That concludes our service gathering, but the family would particularly appreciate it if folks could hang around for a little bit for some visitation and fellowship. And sadly, because of COVID, we can't share food or any of that sort of thing, but do stay. I know the family would love to see people. And we may have to just shift some furniture around, so just give us a couple of minutes and hang tight, and then we can proceed with the visitation.
Sorry. Speech.
Oh, yes, okay. We missed Keith Shower. Is Keith here? There we go. I do apologize, Keith.
Good afternoon, Tammy and family, and spouses, and all of Larry's family and his friends were gathered there together to remember him. When I first was asked to speak about Larry, I thought, this is going to be easy. He's such a positive person, which I think could have got to think negative. And then I realized, well, if it's going to be people he knows, I don't have to tell them how positive he was, because they know me like that. But I have to reiterate that as former speakers have talked about, and ladies, you're very fortunate to have such a fine man as a father. I first met Larry at School for the Deaf in Milton, Ontario. I was a fresh out of college. Larry had been transferred from Belleville to Milton the same year. All new experience for both of us. I was out in a new job. Larry was starting a new environment, a new school. There was only one difference. Larry knew sign language and I didn't. But that soon changed because Larry helped me, encouraged me, taught me signs, and interestingly enough, at that time, staff were discouraged from using sign language. It was always. As a matter of fact, some staff were even reprimanded for using sign language. Thank God that's all changed. Anyway, Larry went on, taught me a number of signs and signs that I don't particularly want to admit to. He taught me everything. Larry was active in sports as I was involved in. Then, of course, I was transferred to Belleville in 1969. And shortly after that, Larry was hired here, as well. And over the years, we became very, very good friends. Larry worked with me, we worked together in a variety of ways in the residential setting, and outdoor activities and skiing and playing ball. He was a super person. But one of the things I have to mention is Larry always had excellent taste for his ladies. But he waited, chose the last, chose the best for last. Then they went on to create 3 wonderful children. I am proud of Larry, as I'm sure all of you are. Proud to have known him. But I also believe that although Larry is not here with us physically, he is spiritually. I believe he's here with us right now. I believe he's gone to his home with his maker. and he's living a good life. That has to be forgotten. Thank you very much.
I believe that concludes our service then.
I'm gonna play you one of my favorite songs from the 80s before I